UFC Seattle picks and predictions happening right now. Before we even get into it, welcome to the script and welcome to the safe bet. The safe bet is pretty much a bet that we place one time, and it's the safest bet on the card in our opinion. Last week we hit Rafael Estevam, an undefeated Brazilian fighter, versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti, and that bet hit. Now it's UFC Seattle. A lot of, you know what I'm saying? If you want to lock that bet, go to www.winnable.com/the-script. It's honestly becoming free money at this point. We would have hit on UFC 312 if Kevin Jousset wasn't a dumbass. All right, no disrespect to the French people, you know what I'm saying? But without further ado, let's get into this breakdown. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's get straight into it. We have, to start off the card, Modestas Bukauskas versus Rafael Sequeira. Wow. All right, we're starting off really good, boys. I'll make this pretty simple. I'm going Modestas. I don't really know what happened to Rafael in his last fight, and I'm not picking him. He didn't look convincing. I don't even think bro got a punch off in his UFC debut. So I can't really pick him until he shows me I can pick him going forward in these fights. Plus 245 underdog honestly seems fitting. Modestas is pretty solid as a fighter. I don't really have anything else to say. Rafael really he was disappointing in his last fight, to say the least. Then we have Nursultan Ruziboyev versus Eric Monaco. For those who don't know, Ruziboyev used to fight at welterweight. He's moving up to middleweight now. And bro's actually not 6'5". He's like 6'7", 6'8". If you watch that fight against Buckley, Buckley's 5'10", and Ruziboyev looks like a whole foot taller than him. Besides the point, Ruziboyev is too damn tall, and the only loss he has is Buckley. He's moving up in weight, so he might not be as slow. I don't even know why he doesn't just fight at light heavyweight, but it is what it is. And yeah, it just looked like in his last fight he couldn't keep up with the pace of Buckley. Buckley proved he's a top contender in his last performances, and Monaco really isn't dangerous. And Ruziboyev should be able to get this one done. He is a minus 300 something. But let's move on to the next fight. Ricky Simón versus Javid Basharat. I was actually this close to picking Ricky Simón just because he has fought the better comp. And Javid is okay. Not anything special. And he's not really reliable when it comes to this fighting stuff. Just because you don't really know how he's going to I don't know. He's not really predictable, if you guys understand what I'm trying to say. And Ricky Simón's a chain wrestler. He has solid takedowns. Well, decent takedowns. I won't even say that. Ricky's coming off a loss, though, and he does have good cardio. He will continue to stick to the takedowns, even if he doesn't even land them. And I think this is where his problem is. He might get gassed, continuously going for takedowns, takedown attempt. You know what I'm trying to say? And he just might not be landing anything. This is where Javid might just piece him up on the feet. His brother, I forgot what his brother's name is, but the Basharat brother that fought on UFC 308 did look pretty good. He's undefeated. And yeah, Basharat should get this one done. He has good offensive and defensive wrestling. He's coming off a loss, but Ricky Simón might get exposed on the feet. And Javid's takedown defense should be good enough, but Ricky's gas tank is a serious threat here. The pick will be Javid Basharat. Then we have Mansour Abdul Malik versus Nick Klein. Now, Mansour has solid takedowns, right? He's a wrestler, he has solid power in his hands, but bro hasn't shot a takedown in the UFC. So I don't know. He has heavy hands. As we all know, he's like on a 4-fight KO streak. He looked good in the UFC. He's a better wrestler and better striker than Nick Klein. But Nick Klein has the better BJJ. And if it goes to the ground, Mansour is better on the ground. Like if he's on top. But this is a tricky fight. Obviously Mansour, it's not that tricky because Mansour should win this. But I mean, he only has like 7 fights in MMA. So, and a lot of these guys, these minus 1100 favorites, are getting exposed recently. But Mansour, I mean, he is the pick. He should be able to get this one done pretty easily. So I'm betting him. You know. Then we have Andre Fili versus Melequizal Costa. And I'm going Andre Fili here. He just has so much more experience in the UFC than Costa. And Fili, even though he does get slept, he does get put in highlights. This man's a serious problem for these newcomers. Like he has so much UFC experience against these high-level fighters. Yair Rodriguez. I think he fought Max Holloway. Like he's a solid guy. He is coming off that win over Cub Swanson, and Cub Swanson showed he still got some power in his hands. Andre Fili is literally better everywhere. And Costa only has 4 fights in the UFC, and he's 2-2 in the UFC. He's not like some monster coming out trying to fight Fili. So, yeah. Plus the decision making. He doesn't really get finishes like that sometimes, and his chin makes it hard to bet on him. Fili, like, he gets these split decision wins, so it's kind of hard to really even like trust him to get it done. But I think he's gonna be able to get this one done. I believe in it. And then we have Ayn Kutalava versus Ibo Aslan. I'm going Aslan. Kutalava is actually a grappler, but he has serious power. I don't even know if he's been using the grappling. If he uses the grappling on Aslan might get exposed. I'm just being honest. I think Ayn Kutalaba is a solid dog, but he's kind of on a losing streak a little bit. He is chinny, and he should get knocked out. Aslan is a finisher. He get not even almost. All of his wins are knockouts. So it's like this is kind of set up for Aslan just to kind of knock this guy out, from being honest. So for that reason, I'm going Aslan. But maybe if Kutalaba just runs out there and shoot a takedown on bro, maybe something happens, We're going Alonzo Menfield versus Julius Walker. Give me Alonzo. I also don't think this is going to be... I think this is kind of a no-brainer. Julius Walker only has 6 MMA fights. Alonzo's been in the UFC. He's 15-5. Although he is not the best fighter, he does fight good competition. Carlos Olberg, that one Russian fighter that he fought in Abu Dhabi with. I'm forgetting the name, something Muhammad or Maikev or whatever. But the guy was undefeated. He got knocked out by him, but Alonzo Menfield just has too much UFC experience, and I think the experience is just going to show in this fight. So, especially this guy's making his UFC debut, so we'll see, to be honest. I think Alonzo should get this one done. Then we have Gene Silva. All I got to do is, listen, bro. Gene Silva's a part of the Fighting Nerds, and his resume, he has a sleeper resume. He hasn't really made, I believe he's not ranked yet. But man, he's beat some killers in division. I forgot who he versed, but he just smoked him by unanimous decision. It was like some up and coming kid, undefeated, knocked out a whole bunch of people. People say his fight style is like Ilia Topuria, but yeah. Without any further ado, he's versing Melsik Bagdasarian, and I think Gene Silva should just get this one done. He's on the Fighting Nerds. He can change levels really good. His striking, really good. Melsik is a kickboxer. He has a kickboxing background. Gene Silva has good, strong pressure. He's coming off a decision win. And, yeah. Melsik also showed he had 0 takedown defense. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gene Silva's game plan is to take bro down. Gene Silva on the Fighting Nerds gym. These guys just haven't lost in the UFC yet. But we'll see Rufy versus Bobby Green. I think that's going to be a lot closer than people think. Moving on, Rob Font versus Gene Matsumoto. And now this is my hot take. I'm going Rob Font. Hear me out. Gene Matsumoto, he should win this, right? He should win this. Younger fighter. I believe he's 25. Has a black belt hurt almost everywhere, right? But Rob Font was a plus 425 in his last fight against a up-and-comer. Rob Font has only lost to the best in the division. What I don't like about Rob Font is he sticks to like a boxing style, right? That's the thing that throws me off about him. But Rob Font only lost to pretty much really good competition. This Gene Matsumoto hasn't, like, he's kind of making a name for himself. But Rob Font, like, this is a hard matchup. And if he doesn't start shooting takedowns on Rob Font and he tries to keep this standing, it's going to be very close and a lot closer than people think. For that reason, I am going Rob Font. I think he's like my only second underdog pick on this card. I'll believe in Gene if he gets this one done. I'll start okay. Maybe he got some, you know what I'm saying? Like, he got some here, whatever. But man, like, I mean, I just have to see it. Rob Font has so much experience. He's not a bum, so for that reason, I'm going Rob Font. Then moving on to the co-main event, we have Brendan Allen versus Anthony Hernandez. Brendan Allen coming off that loss against Ashley Imavov. And now we're understanding who Imavov is for real, you know? So that loss doesn't look that bad. He's versing Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. And I was looking at these stats. Anthony Hernandez shot 29 takedowns on Michel Pereira. And he landed, I believe, 10. This guy's a serious chain wrestler. And they both are on serious win streaks. And I don't know if Brendan Allen gets this one done, boys. The pick will be Anthony Hernandez. His win over Michel Pereira was like a masterclass. He pushed an insane pace. Had a good gas tank. He has good striking. Anthony Hernandez just has such good cardio. Brendan Allen kind of got broke apart against Imavov. He had success in the first round, but I mean, Imavov, like I said, proved he is a top contender. And he just didn't look that impressive against Imavov. On the feet, he looked like, damn, what the hell happened to this guy? You know what I'm trying to say? But we understand it now. So I think this is going to be a really close fight, actually. I think Anthony Hernandez is a heavy favorite. But Brendan Allen has good BJJ, so I'm interested to see if Anthony Hernandez will have success pushing that pace against Brendan Allen. But yeah, they're just the takedowns, the insane cardio. Give me Anthony Hernandez. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the grappling is just is like a grappling match, you know, or maybe they just both don't have success in the grappling and they both start, you know, exchanging on the feet. But the pick will be Anthony Hernandez. Moving on up the card, Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong, the main event, and I'm going Song Yadong. At first, I was trying to convince myself Henry Cejudo, the wrestling Olympic champ, Triple C, but he's not who he once was. If this fight happened 4 years ago, Henry smoked Song Yadong. But now Henry Cejudo is 4 years older. He is 38. I don't know if he's ready for a 5-round fight against Song Yadong. I'm not even trying to glaze Song Yadong, but Henry Cejudo, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. Song Yadong, even though he's coming off a loss, that was a close fight against Peter Yan. Could have been an arguable split decision, and you could have given him the first round. But they said unanimous decision. I thought it was split because Song Yadong got the first round. But Cejudo only has a 46% takedown accuracy, right? And Song has proven if he gets taken down, he'll find a way back up. He has 75% takedown defense. I wouldn't recommend betting for this fight. I would love Cejudo to win, you know, but he's just getting older. He's the older fighter. His last 2 losses are to Aljamain Sterling, the former champ, which he could have won, and then Merab just broke him down and embarrassed him, carried him, walked around in the octagon with him on his shoulders. Give me Song Yadong. I think he's just a little safer to bet on. He's like 11 years younger than Henry Cejudo. Has solid power. Only lost 3 times in the UFC, and I don't think people understand how crazy it is to take Peter Yan to a decision and actually look pretty decent against Peter Yan, which is arguably one of the best bantamweights. Not even arguably. He's like number one contender for a title shot. Give me Song Yadong. And yeah, that is the breakdown, boys. Hopefully Henry Cejudo will get it done. I'd be rooting for him, even though he is the cringe king. I appreciate you guys for tuning into this video. Subscribe to Winnable. Show some love. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'm out.